You're listening to Journey for Truth with internationally known medium, Tai Yi practitioner, and radio host Tami Urbanek.
Hello and welcome to Journey for Truth Radio on Spreaker.com and on YouTube. Thank you for joining me. I'm Tami Urbanek. If you have a moment, you can visit my website at empowermentthroughhealing.org. There you can read all about the different work that I do, also some free classes that I'm offering, and if you choose, you can sign up for my free newsletter.
This week's show is going to be a little different. I don't have a particular guest that I will be interviewing, so to speak, but I do have three individuals coming on my show today, and they both are, all three of them are receiving spirit guide sessions in order to gain awareness, gain insight into what is really going on in their lives and what they can do about it in order to keep moving forward to get to that place of deep joy and deep levels of passion. Everyone has spirit guides. And your guides, their purpose is to guide you in the direction of really coming to understand who you are and why you're here. That's their purpose. And so they're going to offer information that will always benefit that purpose. Spirit guides never stroke the ego. They never just tell you what you want to hear. They don't just pat you on the back. They want to assist you on all levels. That's your conscious mind, your unconscious, your subconscious, your soul, your heart, all higher aspects of you. Their purpose is to really assist you in totality, not just the conscious mind that comes to the session when you come to a session with me. So you're going to hear three people and have a discussion with their guides. You'll hear their guides speak first, offer information up front, and then there's a little bit of interaction. So grab a cup of coffee, a glass of water, a glass of wine, sit back, and hopefully you'll hear something that may apply to you.
And my first radio guest today to have a session with her guides is Anastasia. Anastasia, welcome.
Hello, Tami. Hello, everybody.
And Anastasia, let us know where you're calling in from.
So I'm Greek, but I'm not in Greece. I'm in Paris, where I study history of art.
Okay, wonderful. So you have volunteered to have a session with your guides, and you have had a session before a few years ago. So we'll just pick up where we left off, I think. I don't remember what your guide said 3 years ago, but we'll just start from here, okay?
Okay, great.
First off, Anastasia, your guides want you to look at how you limit yourself, how you limit your expansion based on how you see male energy. Your guides are stating that you have a tendency to compare your energy or yourself to male energy, and then you sometimes subconsciously end up limiting yourself, your expansion, your creative expression. Now, when your guides talk about creative expression, it's not just about creativity, such as art, as you mentioned, but it's an expression of yourself, expression of your own energy, expression of your thoughts, expression of your perceptions. Your guides are stating you have a tendency to limit that and to give yourself permission to express everything that you want to express without reservation. Now, that doesn't mean just saying whatever you want to say, disregard of how anyone might feel. It's about not limiting your expression based on a prejudgment.
I feel exactly what my guides are telling me right now, because this was also my preoccupation, and I was having doubts about that, because when I am with males in general, when friends or in my professional surrounding, actually sometimes I feel that I don't express myself as much as I wanted to. And does it have to do with my previous experiences when I was a little child? Do
It
they?
does have to, yes, it does have to do with male energy from when you were a child. And what they're stating is that you can kind of isolate it or corner it or identify it in regards to male energy. So you can um, link it to male energy, in other words, but it doesn't stop there. So when you limit your expression based on male energy, you end up limiting yourself in other aspects of your life as well. So it's not just a very selective process, it ends up impacting all aspects of your life because everything is connected.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason they're bringing it up is because you have the potential to experience deep levels of passion, deep levels of joy, deep levels of expression, and to truly, your potential here is to truly make this life your most enjoyable life, your deepest learning, your richest life in terms of experiences. But if you're limiting your expression because of prejudgment, you're also going to limit the richness of the different experiences in your life.
Okay, I have a question for them.
Mm-hmm.
When the limit comes, when I feel this limit, and when I limit myself from talking, what do I do?
When you feel the resistance come up, which is what you're saying,
Yes.
Don't act on the resistance, meaning move through the resistance. The question your guides are asking you to reflect on when you notice that resistance is, what are you resisting and why? Make sure you get the why in there. Why are you resisting? In other words, what are you fearing in that moment? Because what your guides see is that you're not fearing really the moment so much. You're fearing what you experienced in your childhood from resurfacing, but it plays out in the moment.
They mean that I have memories coming back from the past?
Yes, your brain will begin, your brain does generate a lot of pictures, and
Yes.
many times you won't see those pictures consciously. So when you feel that resistance coming up, it is because pictures have just been presented to you that you may or may not have seen it consciously. That's why you have to ask the question, why am I resisting? What exactly am I resisting? Because the resistance comes from an old energy, not what you may perceive as a new energy, as in that moment. That moment is a reflection of the old energy.
Okay, so it's not a form of protecting myself, right?
No, it is. It is a form of protecting yourself because it's safer to, according to your false beliefs, it's safer to suppress expression. So that's the resistance. That resistance comes up as a way to protect yourself.
Okay.
Because your brain, your mind states, the lower mind states that if you express yourself completely, that is a risk-taking behavior, that you're risking an outcome that you may not be prepared for. That's what the lower mind is saying.
Okay.
So you go into prejudgment of the expression, and then you stop it.
Okay.
As it relates to male energy. So look at how you, in general, look at how you limit your expression in all areas. And get specific and do look at the subtle ways. If everything was completely obvious, you'd probably move past it a lot easier. It's those subtleties that catch us off guard.
Okay. I have an example. I have something on my mind concerning a male energy that interests me. Do
Mm-hmm.
my guides have something to tell me about that? Apart from what you told me up until now?
See it as a learning experience, is what they said.
Okay.
All right. Well, that's all we have time for.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you, Anastasia, for volunteering to have your session broadcasted on the radio.
You're welcome, Tami. Have a great show.
Thanks.
And my next guest who volunteered for a radio show session is Debbie. Debbie, welcome.
Thank you, Tami. Thank you for having me.
And tell us where you're calling from.
I'm calling from Colorado.
Excellent. And you've had multiple sessions before with me.
I most certainly have.
So this won't be new to you. You're very used to this process, so we'll just get right into it, okay?
Sounds great. Thank you.
The first question you guys are asking you is, where do you stand? Meaning, specifically, where do you stand with male energy?
Are you referring to my husband, all men, people at work?
All male energy. Where do you stand? Are you less than? Are you better than? Are you equal? Not where do you want to stand or where you'd like to think you stand, but where do you actually stand when you look at your conscious and unconscious choices?
I think where I'm standing right now is I'm in battle with balance, with balancing, and I have some fears surfacing around male control.
So what your guides want you to look at is how much energy are you putting forward in the direction of proving something versus demonstrating something.
Well, I didn't realize I was proving anything, putting energy into that. So, because I've been working hard to stay focused on myself, yet I still have it surface.
Mm-hmm.
So, how much am I putting towards proving it versus demonstrating?
30% demonstrating, 70% proving.
Ugh.
So it goes back to intent. When you want to show something, what is your intent behind it? Is your intent in proving that you're capable or proving that something works, or are you trying to simply demonstrate that something works and allowing that something, whatever that is, to speak for itself? So it goes to intent. So the action can look very similar or even the same, but the intent can be off. So in regards to your relationship with your husband, they want you to look at, and they're not saying yet if this is conscious or unconscious or subconscious, but they want you to look at if you are trying to prove to him that healing works, therefore you then have the right to continue working on your own healing. Rather than,
that is a
yeah.
Go ahead.
Rather than allowing your own healing journey to speak for itself.
So has my noticing that he is very invested in his disease and his pain, is that helping me to understand and be more compassionate towards him so that I can focus on myself and not be wrapped up in his choices?
Well,
or am I in that?
Well, they're asking you, why are you wrapped up in his choices?
Well, because I love him, and it's hard for me to see him in pain. But I'm getting that it doesn't matter what I think, that he's got his investment.
Mm-hmm. True. Everyone has an investment in something. The question is just what? What are they invested in? So you're right. Your husband is invested in his pain at this point because his pain has become very normal for him. It carries a very predictable outcome. And he's comfortable in that predictable outcome. He may not be physically comfortable, but mentally and emotionally he's comfortable with a predictable outcome. Your guides feel that in childhood there was a lack of predictability, and they're pointing to his mother, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, he likes that predictability. So it's not that he's making any wrong choices. He is making choices based on what's comfortable.
I think my question is, you started out with, are you demonstrating or are you proving? And I've been having this thought pop in my head over every day for the last week and a half of, he is really invested in this disease and this pain. And because I'm working on being compassionate for everyone. So what am I missing in this area with my husband?
What you're missing is looking at the origin of, and you've looked at this before, but look at it again from a little bit of a different perspective in how you learned in childhood how to prove to male energy. So you as an adult, you're trying to demonstrate, you have that attempt there consciously, but then you have this subconscious desire to prove. Well, that subconscious desire overrides the conscious desire because it remains subconscious, subtle, and not so noticeable until it's being pointed out, such as it is today, and then you can start looking at, oh, I see how it plays out in these different situations. So it is to go back to when you originally learned where and how to prove to male energy and why you decided it was so important.
Well, I'm pretty sure it was important because I wanted to be loved.
Mm-hmm. So then that means that as a child, you were functioning with a false definition of love.
Of course. Oh, of course.
So what if you were to listen to the Jonah message, Love, What Is It? That anyone can purchase at JonahLifeInstitute.com, and you were to take that information and take it to the child, you as a child.
Okay.
And help her begin changing her definition.
Okay. And that does make sense, because it was to be noticed. It was to feel love, even though it was a false love. Okay.
And they also want you to, your guides want you to remember to acknowledge what you have done, what you have accomplished, what you are addressing. Okay. They're not pointing this out because you're doing things wrong. They're pointing out what you missed.
Okay.
All right. Well, that's all we have time for.
All right. Well, thank you, Tami. I appreciate your time and this opportunity and great information, and thank you to my guides.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And my third guest for today's show is Jay. Jay, welcome.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
And Jay, tell us where you're calling from.
I'm calling from the Denver area.
Wonderful. And you've had sessions with me before.
Yes, I have.
Okay, so this is not new to you, so we'll just jump right into it. I'll just tune into your guides and start repeating what they want you to know.
Okay, sounds great.
Their question for you right off the bat is, where do you want to be a year from now? Identify that. And this is not a question that you need to answer them out loud, but rather something that they are suggesting that you focus on. Where do you want to be a year from now, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually?
Okay.
All the way down to the nitty-gritty, all the way down to the really cool details. Then they want you to create a plan for yourself, they're emphasizing not a rigid plan, more of a flowing plan. So, and a working plan, so the plan can adapt as you move along in the year. Plan out, what are you going to do to get to that place that you identify where you want to be? as it relates to your abilities, as it relates to your work, as it relates to your relationships, including obviously your relationship with yourself.
Okay. Cool.
You have the ability here to experience a deep and a great amount of joy. Give yourself permission to experience that joy. So they're also suggesting that you identify which part of yourself is denying yourself that permission to experience joy, which part of yourself is still holding on to the punishment energy. They're acknowledging that you have, in fact, worked on healing the punishment energy, but they're showing me and stating that there is a piece there that still remains.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead and ask them a question if you like.
Okay. I want to transmute the choice I made to gain and hold on to this excess weight, and I'd like their assistance to know if this is the correct choice. And that is, excuse me, as I began to criticize my body, it gained weight to protect itself from the negative energy of my criticism.
Yes, and then also look at that in regards to punishment energy.
Oh, absolutely. It was the number one way that I punished myself, and that's what I'm really working on shifting. And is that the part, the remaining part that they were referring to that's blocking the joy?
It is, and they're presenting it this way. Are you wanting to change your body so that you stop judging it, or are you going to stop judging it and then you change your body?
Oh, intriguing. I want to stop judging it and I want to love it. And I hope as a result it will change.
What your guides feel and see is that that is actually what alters that original choice, is when you remove the judgment and you truly begin to love and accept yourself. When you love and accept yourself, it doesn't mean that you are content with not changing anything. What it means is that you love and accept yourself without conditions.
I understand. Can I ask another question?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. About 2 months ago, I had a pretty bad upper respiratory illness and was starting to feel better and starting to heal. And then I again came down with a cough and sinus problem. My question is, was that a clearing and detox of my liver and my lungs, or was it another virus?
Your guides are stating it was a mixture of both.
Okay. So because of the new way I was eating all of the organic food that was specifically targeted to detox these organs, it was that, but then a virus came in too? Is that right?
Almost. Your guys are stating that there was already a virus present. So don't see it as you then were infected. You already were infected. It just wasn't manifesting yet.
Okay. Was the first upper respiratory problem a virus also?
Yes, and toxins, they said.
Yes, and okay. With all that I've done for the past 2 months, I'm still coughing, the sinuses are better. Am I shifting this because of my attitudes and my, the way I'm eating, or what do I need to do to completely heal this?
Well, they feel that your immune system is in a weakened state. It's in a fragile state. So there needs to be a lot of caution there to protect what is fragile at this point. Not that you need to be scared or be in a place of fear, can't go outside, can't touch anything. They don't want you to go in that direction, but just using discernment and caution to protect your immune system to give it really a chance to begin rebuilding. So what your guides feel and see is that you are in the process of releasing toxins. There needs to be a continuation of that process. There needs to be exercise to assist in that process, but also what they mentioned a moment ago, really removing that judgment. Judgment upon yourself for getting sick, judgment upon the sickness, judgment upon your body, all of that plays a role in weakening your immune system.
Okay, that's excellent to know. That was one of my questions: is how do I strengthen it? And I'm sure that I've been pulling back and learning not to judge others, but then I really was able to see how much I judged myself.
And they're stating exactly. And if you had a small child, or just even a child, in your presence, and that child was ill, you wouldn't judge her for being sick. You would nurture her. You would take care of her. You would, physically meaning, you would care for that child, right?
Yes, I would.
Exactly. You wouldn't tell her she's wrong, she did something wrong because she was sick. Of course not. So why would you do it to yourself?
I get confused a little bit because I know and that I am responsible for everything that happens to me. So if I get sick, I don't get sick. I create the weakened state to be ill. And I sometimes then, in taking responsibility, put blame on myself for it. Like, what did I do to create this and why? And I can hear my past religious indoctrination undertones to that, like, God, why did you do this? Or I can hear the religious undertones to it.
Right, and it just continues that cycling. So if you begin feeling your immune system weakening, intuitively even before physical symptoms manifest, then take action. Don't go into judgment, just take action immediately. Begin what you need to do mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically to strengthen your immune system as much as you can. As you know, viruses are mutating, as you've heard Jonah talk about. And so you need to take that into consideration, that you have a weakened immune system and viruses are mutating, making people more sick than they would have been in the past. So it's not about you doing something wrong. It's about understanding your own body and taking precautionary steps when you need to. But we are out of time, Jay.
Well, thank you so much. This was awesome. I really appreciate it, as always.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for volunteering.
Thank you, and please give my gratitude to the guides.
Okay, will do. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And thank you again to Anastasia, Debbie, and Jay for being a guest on my radio show and really having their personal information on the radio show with their spirit guides. Take a moment to visit universaleducationfoundation.com to look at the programs that they're offering to support kids who have been bullied and teen parents. And then take an extra moment to visit my website, empowermentthroughhealing.org, to find more information on my work or to schedule an appointment. Until next time, have a fantastic week.